What is good, y'all boys and girls? Back with another video. As you can tell by the title, um, I wanted to get a video out giving a good breakdown of the chakras, the chakra system, 7 energy centers of your body. Just for anybody that's interested, and I feel like it's just a good topic that can help a lot of people understand the unseen, obviously, which is reason why I got it tattooed on me. But I wanted to kind of get a breakdown of this, the knowledge that I have, and kind of piece certain parts of the puzzle together. So, like I already said, so people can have an understanding. Now, y'all know it's getting serious when I'm bringing out the computer. You guys can see this. It's called the map of consciousness. But I like to think of it as the light spectrum and the different levels of frequency that they vibrate on. Now, this is obviously the visible light spectrum, everything that we can see with our human eyes. Are these colors you guys can recognize as the rainbow. Now, what this chart shows is the different emotions and the, I guess you want to call energy level, level of vibration. Okay, no, these are the emotions. Here, I gotta read this shit myself. Basically, what it's showing is, let's just simplify it and say the energy levels related to certain emotions, color coded by the different frequencies of light. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because just like the rainbow, the chakras are also color coded from lowest to highest in this exact same order. Now, I want you guys to keep that in mind. I kept it there so you could pause it, you could go over it and read it yourself. If you want to look it up and pull it up yourself, it's the map of consciousness developed by Dr. R. Hawkins. You could easily find it online. Now, when we get into the chakras and their names, I have my notes. See, this how y'all know I'm getting serious, man. I don't ever bring out no external source. I usually go off the top, but I really want to get a good breakdown of this because it's stuff that I really care about. But starting with your bottom, at the lower base, literally, it resides in a body part called your gooch, which is kind of like where your genitals sit on. That's going to be your root chakra, represented by red. That's going to be dealing with survival, which if you even look in this right here, where it has the red and the orange, where it says guilt, anger, and grief, those are essentially the emotions you need to overcome to kind of cleanse and balance your root chakra, which is really survival. Even right next to it, those emotions that it lists says survival pentagram, and that's also where you'll be hearing people saying you're living in survival mode, and not to live in survival mode is because you're literally living through your lowest chakra at the base, which is your root, which is very important because you want to, basically that's where the flow starts. If you have a dirty root, it's gonna affect every other chakra as your Kundalini energy rises. So that's why we're starting with the root represented by red. Survival, another way to conceptualize it is your identity and your place in the world, and how you view yourself in that way. So the root being the bottom, then we move up to the sacral chakra, which is represented here. I can show you guys on my arm. So we have root, which is covered up by my bracelets. We went over root. Now the sacral chakra, represented by orange. As still in the survival paradigm, if we're looking at the map of consciousness, but that's going to be your genitals, which deals with, yes, sexual relationships, but on another level, it really just goes deep into your feelings and your creativity and a little bit of expression. I would say expression is kind of represented by both the solar plexus and the sacral, but your sacral being very tied to your emotions and your feelings, and that also being connected to your creativity. And then also stuff that I'm still looking into, that's where a lot of your like having balance there has an effect on your astral experiences, but I'm still getting in there, so I'm not going to talk too much on that. Next, we go up to our third chakra, which is our solar plexus, which is right where our adrenal glands are, kind of right below the heart, and that has to, represented by yellow, that has to do with our will and desire. Think of it as that fire that, I mean, if you think of just your adrenal glands, those are the things that get you fired up when you're playing sports, or when you're, you know, your fight or flight, your adrenal glands, boom, you get that fire and you're ready to go. So that's your will and desire, again, represented by yellow. And the reason why I bring up the adrenal glands, because the really cool thing about the 7 chakras is that it's also reflected in physical matter of your body, given that you have 7 main glands of your body, and we already mentioned one in another video, but that's, I just find that really cool, because these are energy centers of your body that are more a part of your light body and have an effect on your aura, you know, because like I like calling it energy centers. People also call it like different energy nodes, but obviously you can't see these things with the physical eye, but they are represented by physical glands in your body that have similar effects that align with the chakras. So for further research for anyone that's interested. But now we move up to our heart chakra, which is arguably one of the most important, as it sits in the middle, and it's kind of the bridge between the higher chakras and the lower chakras, lower consciousness, higher consciousness. And the heart chakra is represented by green. That has a lot to do with your inner guidance and your truth. And yeah, very definitely arguably one of the most important, and that's why people say follow your heart, because your heart will guide you to your truth. And it's also a good meditation practice to whenever you are meditating, focus on your heart, and that's kind of how you come back to your truth. But yeah, that's a cool one. I like that. Now we move up again into the 3 higher chakras, starting with the throat chakra, which is represented by blue. And I know I said truth for the heart, but that's more of like think of truth followed with guidance and the truth of who you are, and connected to that is the throat chakra, which is the tool to speak your truth. And that's literally, you're creating vibration to affect vibration, which is literally everything is vibration and energy being vibration. Not trying to confuse anybody, but still on the topic of chakras, the throat chakra being represented by blue, and it's really interpretation and communication. So yeah, I don't even want to confuse myself. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. You know what, and I'll leave a picture of my notes. I might make that the thumbnail, to be honest. Anyways, continuing on, we have our last two higher chakras. The one that a lot of people, or most people, have probably heard of out of all of them, being the third eye chakra, the pineal gland. Made a video on that, and again, the glands lining up with the chakras is no coincidence. But the third eye basically represents intuition, foresight, and some like to reference it as your sixth sense, your knowing. Highly recommend just doing your own research on the third eye so you can have an understanding for yourself. I mean, I really recommend doing your own research for everything so you can understand it your way. But yeah, third eye being represented by purple, as you can see, the rainbow, and the rise in frequencies. And if you know anything about the light spectrum as well, like it's ordered in that way for a specific reason. And we're gonna go back to the map of consciousness when we talk about how certain colors affect your chakras. But last but definitely not least, your crown chakra, which is really your connection to divinity, higher intelligence, and the divine. I said divinity, but if you want to think of it as God, I know a lot of people also reference it as your Christ consciousness. So that should help people understand it's really your connection to the higher power, higher intelligence. And if we're thinking of your body being electromagnetic, because we are electromagnetic beings, and you think of the torus field, if anyone knows about the torus field, if you don't, it's okay. Just literally think about your aura, like you have aura, and that's how, like, energetically things can sense you, and you can sense things, and you can bring information into your field. The torus field kind of, it goes in here, out the bottom, and wraps back around, and it's constantly flowing. But the reason why I say in from the top is because that is your crown chakra receiving the higher intelligence. Really cool stuff, and why I say do your own research. I'm just here kind of to give you the spark to start your own fire. But yeah, I also have some notes about Kundalini, because the way that I view the chakras is obviously, like I said, starting with the root. And the reason why it's important to have a clean root is because that's where the energy or the flow of energy starts. So if that's messed up, boom, it affects the flow. But Kundalini rising, as it powers up each energy center and kind of unlocks its gifts, is what I have notes. And I'll put a kind of disclaimer, shout out to this one person. I watched a bunch of his videos. He has like hour-long videos on each chakra. So if you want to go into those, I'll leave the first video that he made, and then from there you could find the rest of the other videos. But my kind of overall breakdown of this in my notes, I said basically cerebral spinal fluid, which you want to think of as Kundalini energy, because it's constantly flushing out your brain, rises from creation, the base of your spine, through the chakras, stimulating them while moving towards higher intelligence. What else? Blocked chakras result in making it harder for Kundalini to rise and for you to utilize those energy centers. But some good ways to clear those blockages are semen retention and fasting, which is why they're so popular in the spiritual community, because of the benefits. Like, literally, it's I guess, if you want to call it, if you look at life as a video game, it's the cheat code. It's how you really grind that shit out fast. And semen retention, as well as sun gazing, sunbathing, just receiving those light codes from the sun. It purifies your, not only your aura field, but your physical vessel as well. Yeah, super dope stuff. That's all my notes. Some last points I want to make, bringing back the map of consciousness. Here, I'll just read it out. Oh, actually, no, I gotta show y'all as I talk, so I'll just, can't flip the camera. It's okay. Anyways, a map of consciousness. You see how, like I was saying, it's the light spectrum going up and down. And, you know, each light spectrum has a different rate of vibration. So there's no coincidence. And if you guys remember in school when they taught us about light, and they used the pyramid, the crystal or glass pyramid, and you shine white light through it, and then it splits off into those rainbow colors. That's really the breakdown of pure light, and it's different, I guess, energy levels that you can have. Anyway, I actually could probably find a better picture for what I'm trying to convey right here. If I just type in the light spectrum, bear with me, y'all, bear with me. Honestly, if you're not looking for any extra knowledge, you don't have to watch any further. I mean, obviously, watch as much as you want, but I just want to make a last point about why people say, like, wearing certain colors helps your chakras, eating certain foods that are the same color as the chakra helps kind of not only cleanse the chakra, but power up the chakra. But this is a good picture right here, because it really shows, like, wavelength and the energy levels. You see that? Boom. Those are certain frequencies that they vibrate at. So, I mean, I feel like just saying it, you can piece the puzzle together. Like I said, I'm here to just give you the spark to create your own fire. But yeah, looking deeper into the chakras. What the dog doing, man? My fault. But going along with the chakras, there's a lot of different interpretations. That's why I didn't really want to give one, because I've heard different chakras representing different elements. But obviously, root and crown are higher self and lower self. And then the ones in between can be related to the different states. Oh no, the different elements. My fault. I was about to say states of matter, but the 5 different elements being water, fire, wind, earth, and ether. A lot of people don't think about ether, but it is an element, just like gas. Like I said in the dimensions and density video, just because you can't see these things doesn't mean they don't exist, just like the chakras. But you know, the more, if you're looking for something, you will find it. Yeah. Any last points? I guess I'll throw some extra knowledge out there for anyone who wants to go deeper into this and experience it for themselves. for anyone that meditates. That's why there are certain I was gonna turn this into a second video, but it'd just be way too short. There's certain mudras and mantras specifically for your chakras. Yeah, if you want to look into that, again, highly recommend you do your own research, but I'm just gonna kind of give you the base of things and just show you each one. So for your root chakra, obviously sitting in your lotus pose, and the chakras are represented by different lotuses, no coincidence. Sitting in your lotus pose though, you want to hold your fingers like this, facing down, rest them on your knees or whatever you got to do. That's going to be your root chakra. Moving on to the sacral pose, a lot of people have seen. Set this down in your lap, back straight, because you want the Kundalini energy to flow upward freely without any. Your posture is very important. That's going to be the sacral chakra. Solar plexus. Yes. I've already seen videos out there where people are like, they tell you to pray, to talk to God. Solar plexus mudra connects you to your soul. Solar plexus. Sun in Spanish, soul. No coincidence. Anyways, I know that's probably controversial, but it's what I think. So we did solar plexus, heart chakra, similar to the root, but you're facing it upwards. Because remember, it's the bridge to the higher chakras, lower chakras. And this is basically just keeping your chi, your prana, still circulating within. That's why mudras, bro, mudras go deep. I still have a lot to learn about mudras, but it's basically just a way to manipulate your prana and chi and direct it towards certain areas. Cool stuff, really cool stuff. So we did the heart chakra. Now the throat chakra, similar to the sacral chakra, but instead of overlapping your hands, you want to interlock them. Boom. In your lap again. Throat chakra, bro. I literally felt that shit in my throat chakra as a whatever. Third eye chakra. This one's pretty cool, a little complicated. So you want to put these together, middle finger up for whoever looking, and then these together, and then your thumb together, and you want to just hold it right here. Third eye mudra. And this stuff, if you already meditate and you don't do mudras, especially ones where you're holding them up, it takes time to really hold them over time, because honestly, it's a workout in itself. Sometimes I don't even work out and I just meditate for long periods of time. Not because I don't even need to defend myself. Anyway, third eye mudra. And lastly, your crown mudra. Interlock all of these. Keep your pinkies out. Connect them together. Boom. That's your crown mudra. And now as far as mantras, mudras are hand signs, as just like Naruto. And mantras are more of like you using your voice to create vibrations. I mean, even affirmations can be seen as mantras. Really. I'll open up my notes for this one, because this is where I really got the mantras from the video that I was telling you about, which I can remember his name. I don't remember the name of the channel, but I will leave it in the bio. Now, for the root chakra, the kind of, and there's multiple mantras there, because like it gets deep to where they connect them, but I'm just gonna give you guys like the sound vibrations you can make. the root, and if you can, like, if you collaborate it with the mudras as well, you're doing something right. Let's just say that. Anyway, root chakra is an S. I'll show y'all. The root chakra is gonna be an S. So literally just, and you can say these in your, you don't have to say them out loud as well, but obviously it's better because you're physically creating the vibration when you're using your vocal cords. So just, and a good way to kind of keep it going is to inhale, and then on your exhale just create the vibration. So that's your root. Sacral is going to be represented by an M. So again, your solar is going to be U, pronounced like ooh. So ooh is your sacral. I have lungs on there because he was talking about how, like, your lungs is basically your connection to your ancestral life, being kind of like your lung kind of being looked at as your family tree. Because if you look into the lungs, if you know anything about them, they literally branch and split off like trees. So I think that's pretty cool, but it's not a chakra. Your heart being represented by O, and that's literally just O. Your throat being represented by the letter E, and it's kind of similar to the crown and the third eye, which are the same, which is I, which is actually pronounced E, but for the letter E being the throat chakra, it's E. So E. Your crown, like I said, E. Or that's really your third eye. Your crown is really just silent because you're just receiving from the higher intelligence. So yeah, honestly, this is probably the longest video I ever made on this channel. That wasn't a live stream, obviously, and I could continue to talk about this for days and days and days, because I'm very passionate about it and very interested by it as well, which is why I got all of this stuff to really give a breakdown. Like I said again, give you guys the spark to start your own fire, because I feel like this is very valuable information that, like I said, it doesn't get talked about enough. So yeah, hopefully this inspired somebody, kind of turned on some light bulbs and taught you something new, or opened up a different perspective on something you had little or no information on. And even if you did know everything I was talking about in the, goddamn, turn that down. Even if you did know what I was talking about, hopefully I gave you a new perspective. And don't be afraid to comment, give me feedback on the video. I'd love to continue to open up on the topics that I post about. And actually, this is a great time to kind of plug the Discord for the community, because we could really have conversations there, which I feel like it'd be easier than in the YouTube comments. But of course, only if you're interested. I'm gonna sign off though before we hit 30 minutes. We're probably gonna hit it, but yeah, that's it from me. I guess I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Much love and peace.